This is the Commodities, Scrap Metal Recycling and Economic Report by our Bentley Roll-Up Trailers and Gondola Trailers, August 15th, 2022, and a very happy birthday to my 98-year-old mother today. U.S. weekly crude steel production fell to 1.723 million tons on a slowing U.S. economy. The U.S. dollar index. The U.S. dollar versus other global currencies. When the U.S. dollar index rises, commodity prices in dollars usually falls. It fell slightly to 105.6, but remains near its 20-year high. This was on the U.S. Federal Reserve's hawkish comments that higher interest rates are coming. WTI crude oil price rose to $92.01 a barrel on an increased global demand forecast, also on some shutdowns in the Gulf of Mexico due to leaks. The U.S. weekly oil rig count rose to 601. The slight trend up continues due to higher demand and higher prices. U.S. weekly crude oil production rose to 12.2 million barrels per day, the highest in about 2.5 years. Higher prices bring increased production. Weekly oil imports remain at pre-COVID levels. Scrap steel number one HMS price fell to $333.33 a gross ton on slowing demand and it being tougher to export scrap due to the higher dollar. Hot rolled coil steel price fell to $40.67 per hundredweight, which is $8.13 a ton, on slowing economic growth, causing less demand. Copper price rose to $3.68 a pound on tight inventories and lower U.S. inflation news. Aluminum price rose to $1.10 a pound, which is $24.35 a metric ton, on lower European production due to higher energy costs. China's July trade surplus rose to a crazy $101.26 billion, a new record driven by a jump in exports. The trade surplus with the U.S. grew to $41.5 billion just for the month. U.S. July producer prices, the price U.S. producers get for products. They fell to 0.5% from June, the first drop in over 2 years. It was led by a 16.7% drop in gasoline. Annually, prices fell to an increase of 9.8%, the lowest since October. U.S. July annual inflation fell to 8.5% as energy rose just 32.9%, which is still pretty big. Core inflation that excludes food and energy was steady at 5.9%. U.S. August U of M Consumer Sentiment Index rose to 55.1, the highest in 3 months. Future expectations rose and inflation expectations decreased. U.S. July NFIB Small Business Optimism Index rose to 89.9, while inflation and labor shortages remain major issues. Wall Street's Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 957 points to 33,761. This was on inflation may have peaked as inflation expectations fell. Cut long-distance transportation costs in half by a Bentley 2-container trailer. They are the safest, easiest to use, and fastest in the industry. As always, feel free to call or email me with any questions, and we hope all have a safe and profitable week.